Okay, let's get into this. When you think about HR, human resources, maybe you picture paperwork, benefits enrollment, that kind of thing.
The essential admin stuff, definitely important.
Right, essential. But, based on the sources we're looking at today, HR is actually changing like really fast. It's becoming this real hub for AI tech.
It really is. And what's genuinely striking is just how fast it's being adopted. This isn't, something way off in the future.
Right.
No. The report we've got here, it says over 48% of global HR functions are already bringing in AI agent technology. That's huge.
38%. Wow. This is
Yeah.
happening right now.
Exactly. Shaping the workplace as we speak.
Okay. So that's what our deep dive is all about today. AI agents specifically in human resources, and we're drawing a lot from this really detailed report you brought.
That's the plan.
So maybe for someone hearing this term AI agent for the first time, what exactly are we talking about in an HR context?
Okay, good question. Think of them as intelligent software programs designed for specific HR jobs. The analysis calls them autonomous or semi-autonomous.
Meaning they work on their own remotely.
Pretty much. They perceive HR data, so that could be details on a resume, maybe employee feedback surveys, system logs, that sort of thing.
Right, yeah.
Then they reason about it. They use algorithms. This is where you get things like NLP, natural language processing.
To understand language, text.
Exactly. And machine learning, so they can actually learn from patterns in the data, sometimes even sentiment analysis, figuring out the sort of emotional tone in written feedback, maybe.
Okay, so they perceive, they reason using these smart tools.
Mhm.
And then the crucial part is they act.
Precisely. They act independently or, with just a bit of human oversight needed, performing actual HR tasks.
Like what kind of tasks?
Oh, all sorts. Screening thousands of resumes automatically, scheduling interviews back and forth, or even just providing instant answers to common employee questions. They're built for that. Perceive, reason, act, all within HR.
Okay, that's clear. So our mission today, it's not just about listing features, is it? We want to dig into this report and really understand, well, where are these agents making the biggest difference now?
Right. What's the real impact?
Yeah, and what possibilities are opening up for the future? But also, crucially, what are the challenges? The tricky questions this technology raises for everyone.
Definitely need to cover those too.
We're really aiming to give you the essentials, cutting through the hype to see what this shift truly means.
And a really key point from the report is that these agents, they're not just in one corner of HR. They're showing up across the entire employee journey. It's a fundamental change.
Okay, the whole life cycle.
Yeah.
So where do they pop up first? What's most common right now, according to the report?
Talent acquisition. Hiring, that's a massive area. The report shows agents automating those really time-consuming initial steps.
Like wading through resumes.
Exactly. You've got resume screening bots. They can sift through huge numbers of applications using quite complex criteria way faster than any person could.
I can imagine.
And they're also conversational agents, chatbots, basically, built to talk to candidates, answer their basic questions about the job or the company, handle the back and forth of scheduling interviews. That alone is a huge time saver.
Yeah, that interview scheduling nightmare. And the report mentioned something about AI in video interviews, too.
Yeah,
Analyzing more than just the words.
it did, yeah. Some tools use AI to look at potentially tone of voice, language patterns, trying to help assess candidates, especially when dealing with large volumes. It's definitely pushing the envelope on screening.
Wow. Okay, so beyond hiring, where else? The report talks about onboarding and training.
Right. Think about virtual onboarding agents. They can automate a lot of that initial paperwork avalanche, benefit signups, the drill.
Streamlining day one.
Yeah.
And learning recommendation engines. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's about personalization. Based on your role, your performance data, maybe even how you use company software, these agents can suggest specific training modules, little micro-learning bits, making professional development feel more, tailored to you.
More relevant, less generic. Makes sense.
Exactly. And then once people are settled in, AI agents are appearing in performance and productivity management too.
How so?
Well, the report mentions AI-driven evaluations, pulling data from different places, project management tools, maybe communication logs to give more frequent, sort of data-informed feedback, not just the annual review.
Okay. And digital coaches. What are those?
These are tools often integrated into workflow systems that give little behavioral nudges or suggestions, maybe to a manager on how to communicate better, or to an employee on time management based on observed patterns, real-time feedback loops.
Hmm, interesting. And what about the less visible stuff, like compliance?
Critical area. The report talks about policy adherence agents. They can monitor internal communications or system usage, basically looking for patterns that might suggest potential compliance issues, maybe with new regulations or just internal rules.
So spotting risks early.
Exactly. And related to that, employee sentiment monitors, using that NLP capability again to analyze feedback from surveys or maybe internal forums to pick up on widespread issues like burnout or even potential misconduct before they escalate.
That definitely overlaps with employee experience and keeping people happy, retention.
Absolutely. The report highlights AI-powered HR assistants. These are those smart chatbots we mentioned, but for existing employees, handling tons of common questions instantly.
Like, how much vacation time do I have? Or
Yeah.
where's my pay slip? That kind of thing.
Precisely. Things that take up a lot of human HR time currently frees them up for more complex issues.
Right.
And maybe one of the most sort of strategic applications in the report is predictive retention models.
Predicting who might leave.
Yeah. These agents analyze lots of different data points about an employee, how long they've been there, performance trends, engagement scores, maybe even info about their team dynamics to forecast the likelihood they might resign. The idea is to intervene proactively.
Get ahead of the curve on turnover.
Oh.
Okay, so it's clear they're being used everywhere. But the big question, right, is do they actually work? Does this report show real, measurable results?
Yes. And this is where it gets really compelling. The report pulls together metrics that show significant business value.
Okay, like what?
Like hiring time. Traditionally, filling a role might take, 35, maybe 50 days?
Easily. Sometimes longer.
Well, the data suggests that with AI agents involved in talent acquisition, that can drop to under 15 days.
Under 15.
Yeah.
That's a massive difference. Think of the competitive edge.
It's huge. And related to that, the cost per hire
Right, always a key metric.
often comes down significantly, too. The report cites figures dropping from around $4,000 maybe down towards $1,200 per hire. Again, big efficiency gains.
Huge savings.
Yeah.
Okay, what about getting people started? Onboarding.
Onboarding time. Often crunched down from, say, a typical 2-week process to just 2 or 3 days by automating those initial steps we talked about.
Well, productive faster.
Exactly. And those common HR help desk questions, the ones employees ask all the time.
Yeah.
Resolution time apparently goes from maybe 2 or 3 hours waiting for a human response down to often less than a minute with an AI assistant.
Less than a minute.
Yeah.
That instant access must make a real difference to how employees feel.
You'd think so. And maybe the most strategic metric of all, employee turnover. Does the report show an impact there?
The bottom line, really.
It does. The analysis suggests organizations that are really implementing these AI agents effectively are seeing turnover rates drop quite a bit, often from, say, typical industry rates of 18-20% down to under 12%.
Under 12%. That's significant. That directly hits the company's stability and costs long term.
Absolutely. These aren't trivial changes.
And these numbers, they're coming from reputable sources cited in the report, right? Like Deloitte, SHRM, Gartner.
Yeah, the report references studies and data from organizations like those. It really emphasizes that this isn't just about, automating grunt work. It's driving fundamental improvements in key business outcomes.
And it also lists some specific companies, vendors who are building these tools.
It does, yeah. It mentions names like Eightfold AI, known for talent intelligence platforms, Paradox, which does conversational AI for recruiting, Lena AI for automating the HR help desk, HireVue in the video interviewing space, Pymetrics using gamification for assessments, and Workday integrating AI into their core HR analytics and learning modules.
So these are the platforms actually making this happen on the ground.
Right. They're the ones building and deploying these agent capabilities that companies are using.
Okay, so look, the potential is obviously huge. Efficiency, speed, better use of data. It's all there. But like with any powerful tech, there's always a flip side, isn't there?
Yeah.
The report doesn't ignore the challenges, does it?
Not at all. It dedicates significant attention to them. It flags ethical, legal, and cultural challenges as really primary concerns.
And one of the biggest ones that comes up again and again is bias, right? Bias and discrimination baked into the AI.
That's a major focus because AI learns from data. And if the historical HR data used to train these systems already reflects existing human biases, conscious or not, the AI can end up just perpetuating those biases or worse, amplifying them.
In things like hiring decisions,
Yes.
promotions.
Exactly. The analysis talks about concerns raised specifically around resume screening algorithms or even facial analysis used in some video interview tools, how they might disadvantage certain groups.
So you really have to watch the data you feed them and how the algorithms work. What about all the employee information itself?
Data privacy, massive issue. These AI agents are processing incredibly sensitive stuff, performance reviews, sentiment analysis from communications, personal details. So big questions arise. How secure is that data? Who gets to see it? How is it actually being used?
And the level of monitoring some of these tools
Yeah.
allow. It must raise questions about trust, right? Where's the line between helpful insights and feeling spied on?
It's a very fine line, and it directly impacts employee trust and morale.
And if things go wrong,
Yeah.
from a legal standpoint.
Legal liability. That's still a bit of a gray area, frankly. The report asks, if an AI agent makes a discriminatory hiring decision or misses a critical compliance flag, who's legally responsible? The company, the HR team that configured it, the software vendor.
Yeah, the legal frameworks haven't really caught up with the tech yet.
Definitely playing catch up. So yeah, while the potential is enormous, these challenges, bias, privacy, liability, they need very careful, very deliberate handling.
Okay, so looking ahead then, the report also gazes into the crystal ball a bit, right? Where does it see all this going in the next few years?
It does offer some pretty thought-provoking predictions. One is this idea of hyper-personalized HR.
Hyper-personalized.
Yeah, moving beyond just simple transactions. Agents that really understand an individual employee's context, their work history, maybe even their career goals and preferences to deliver truly tailored interactions and support.
Like a digital HR partner who actually knows you.
Yeah.
The report mentioned a Cheers model AI.
Exactly. Where everybody knows your name. Or in this case, the AI system has a much deeper, more contextual understanding of each employee to provide better service. It's an interesting vision.
It is.
What else? Decentralized talent matching. This potentially involves using technologies like blockchain alongside AI agents.
Blockchain, how does that fit in?
The idea is to create automated, secure, and really transparent systems for matching skilled people, maybe especially in the gig economy, directly with opportunities globally without needing traditional recruiters or agencies as intermediaries.
Changing the very structure of finding work. And something called emotionally intelligent agents. That sounds ambitious.
It does. It's exploring using effective computing, basically, tech that tries to recognize and respond to human emotions. The goal would be to enable HR agents to better interpret an employee's emotional state during an interaction, maybe offer more empathetic responses.
So trying to make the AI feel a bit more human.
Sort of. Moving beyond purely functional transactional exchanges, it's a frontier for sure.
And lastly, agentic HR ecosystems. Sounds complex.
It points toward the future where it's not just isolated bots. Instead, you have multiple AI agents, each specializing in a different area, recruitment, learning, payroll support, whatever, all communicating and coordinating with each other seamlessly, almost like a team, to manage complex HR processes pretty much autonomously.
Wow. A highly integrated, automated HR function working behind the scenes.
That's the vision. The report really drives home that these AI agents, they're not just a novelty anymore. They're becoming a core part of the modern HR toolkit, like right now.
If used properly.
Yes, absolutely. When implemented thoughtfully, responsibly, the advantages in speed, scale, maybe even improving the employee experience through quicker help and personalization, they're significant.
And the report has recommendations for companies starting out.
It does. Things like, start small with pilot projects, focus intensely on training the AI models to try and minimize bias from the outset, have really clear governance policies, who oversees the AI, what are the rules, and crucially, be transparent with employees about how AI is being used and how decisions are made.
Transparency seems key for trust.
Absolutely essential. Ultimately, the report suggests the sweet spot, the most successful approach, will be blending the power of AI automation with human judgment, human empathy, and a solid commitment to fairness.
Okay. So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening? Well, whether you're actually working in HR or you manage a team, maybe you're job hunting right now, or you're just an employee interacting with your company.
Yeah.
This technology is very likely impacting your professional life already, or it will be very soon.
Yeah, it's becoming pervasive.
These huge efficiencies we talked about, this drive towards more personalized experiences, but also these really critical challenges around fairness and privacy, they aren't just abstract ideas, they're real factors shaping the workplace you're in.
And this deep dive pulling from the report really highlights that tension, doesn't it? The promise of AI agents for efficiency, for personalization, maybe even reaching hyper-personalized HR or emotionally intelligent agents someday.
Right.
But equally, it stresses those big ethical hurdles and the absolute need for the human touch, for empathy to guide how we use them.
Which really leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on. As these AI agents get smarter, more capable, and woven more deeply into every aspect of HR, how do we make sure? How do we ensure that this relentless pursuit of efficiency and this goal of perfectly tailored experiences doesn't accidentally erode genuine human connection? How do we guarantee fairness for everyone and maintain that fundamental trust between employees and employers? What's the right blend, the right balance between artificial intelligence and essential human empathy in the HR of tomorrow?